Welcome to Taste Buds. I'm Debra Eckerling, goal strategist, writer, and foodie. And today I'm speaking with Natalie Kalmar, founder of the Fitness Foodie STL. Welcome, Natalie.
Hey, Deborah. Thank you so much for having me. I am thrilled to be on your show today.
Well, I'm excited to chat with you. How did you become Fitness Foodie STL?
That is a great question. So about 3 years ago, I was in a transitionary period. I worked for a corporate giant for many, many years. And, you know, COVID had changed us all. Motherhood changed me. It was time for me to kind of just make a change for myself. And so I took about a year off. And then what I realized all along really was my love for group fitness had kind of gone by the wayside through COVID, in the gyms closing, through motherhood. It just became difficult for me to find that time and live that joy for group fitness. I've always loved group fitness. It's always been something that I've done regularly, and it just became very challenging during that time. So after I finally left my corporate job, my family became priority number 1, and then in any additional free time that I had, I decided after a move back to St. Louis that I wanted to ground myself in the St. Louis fitness scene. I wanted to find community in fitness, and I wanted to discover all of the amazing opportunities that there were in St. Louis. And so that kind of became this sense of purpose and this sense of joy for me was having fun with fitness and not just settling for a meh gym that was close, but really trying to figure out like what are the cool places in St. Louis. And it really got me out of my house post COVID. It got me back into the community. It regrounded me in St. Louis because I had lived in New York for 13 years prior. And so it was just really out of a love for group fitness that I started wanting to write down my discoveries. I was like, you know what? I feel like I've got some really helpful resources for people that are maybe looking for a new gym, that are looking for community, that want to have fun with fitness. And so I started writing it down. And that's where Fitness Foodie began. But I am not some crunchy fitness person. I love food. I'm Jewish. I grew up eating. Food is life. So it felt weird for me to be so one-sided, and so I had to bring food into the mix as well because it's just part of who I am and it's something I look forward to, and I don't want to portray something that isn't true, right? As you can love fitness and you can also balance it and enjoy food. And so that's kind of how Fitness Foodie began. I started writing all of these experiences down as I was rediscovering St. Louis through an adult lens. And so I started a website where I publish articles that are researched about fitness and food places in St. Louis, different opportunities, different ways to have fun with fitness. um, and I also have an Instagram account where I post videos of these experiences as well. So it's been a really fun project for me to reconnect with my city, reconnect with like minded individuals, and have fun with fitness and find joy and balance.
Well, that is beyond awesome. And as you know from my intro, I am a goal strategist as well as a former non-cook, food writer, food podcaster. So I love it when people say, okay, life isn't working. I need to do my thing. First, I got to figure out what that is. So you basically, without knowing the dev rules, did like all of the dev rules.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I'm sure I would continue to learn if I just need to delve into the 52 rules that you've set out because I'm sure there's so much more for me to learn and discover.
Oh, well, I was not trying to commercial me, but thank you. And I created the dev method. So that's my system for goal setting simplified. And it's all about setting the foundation for your goals for your life. And I love the fact that you're like, okay, what is my priority? Family. What else do I love? Fitness. What else do I love? Food. So you really manage to, I think, merge everything together. And not everybody gets that gift. And then you get to share it. So what's better than doing what you love, but being able to share what you love?
100%. It's really been such a joy. I mean, coming from working for a corporation for so long and kind of being siloed into this thing that they tell you you're good at and course, chasing the corporate ladder. It was a good opportunity for me to reflect, take a year to just, what do I want? What am I running towards? Am I running towards the right thing? If I'm going to hustle for anyone, I want to hustle for myself. And so it's really just been this merger of all these things that I love and almost a rediscovery of what makes me me. So it's been a self-discovery journey, honestly.
And you ended up with food and fitness, which are, let's face it, really important. And I kind of feel like I don't want to limit what I eat, so then I have to work out more. Is that how we do it?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, so I grew up as a heavy kid. I was in Weight Watchers at the age of 10 and, prescribed diets to help me get in shape. And, I don't believe in diets. I never enjoyed that experience. I do believe there's a time and place. If you have a goal and you need to get there, right? A diet can help you. But at the end of the day, I think it's really about finding balance and what works for you, what you're comfortable with, right? Exercise for me has never been about the physical benefits. Those are secondary benefits, I would say, but it's not been about a certain size or being a certain weight. It's really about how it makes you feel and the mental benefits that you get from it. I feel like exercise for me makes me a better mother. It makes me a better friend. It makes me a better daughter. It makes me feel like myself. And when I'm not doing it, I'm grumpier. So for me, it's really about all of those benefits. And obviously, the physical stuff, getting stronger, getting leaner, those are all great, right? Nobody's going to knock those things, but they're kind of secondary for me. And so, blending fitness, you can love fitness, but that doesn't mean that you have to eat cottage cheese and salads all day, right? It's about finding that balance where you feel like yourself and you're being joyful in the balance that you achieve.
And I love the word joy. I like the idea of joy in fitness because people usually do not put those words together. So, how can someone find that joy in
I
working out?
Okay, so that's a really good question. And I think the answer is to find a way to move that you enjoy. So if you don't enjoy going to your gym or visiting your personal trainer or walking or running or whatever it is, it's time to try some new things. There are so many ways that you can move your body out there, whether it's dance fitness, whether it's playing a sport, whether it's getting a dog and walking your dog. All of that counts. All of that is movement. So it's about trying new things. And I think also infusing variety because a lot of times people go to one place. They take the same type of class, they see the same people, and there is some good in that, right? I'm not gonna say there isn't, but it may make it feel monotonous, not something that you're looking forward to. So find things that add variety, that add some that give you a sense of like, I'm excited to try this new place. I'm excited to, bring a friend along with me and talk to her while I'm on the treadmill or whatever it is. Find ways to make it fun for you. And I think it's really all about trying new things. One of the things that I do here in St. Louis is I manage a fitness events listing. So I round up all the fitness events that are happening all over the city and they are there are so many fitness events that are happening, and every week I publish what I think are the top 5 events of the weekend, um, and usually they're collaboration events, it's you're getting a little bit of breath work, you're getting a little bit of dance, you're getting a little bit of community, you're getting some coffee and treats afterwards, and there are just so many opportunities to get out there and try something new. And so, even just doing that once or twice a month can do so much for your mental stimulation and your excitement to get up and move.
Is there like a certain amount of movement you should do every day? Is there like a rule?
So, I don't like to prescribe to hard and fast rules because it kind of feels, forced, I guess. But I think I like to move every day. I think it's important to try to move like, 20 minutes, whether that's walking or lifting or even like just going up and down your stairs and lifting the laundry. That all of it counts, right? So I think it's just what feels good to you. I'm not a medical professional. I would I would guess that they would probably tell you that you need, at least 120 minutes of movement, true fitness every week along that lines, right? But for me, it's really not about the prescription. It's just about listening to your body and doing what feels good.
Right. And if you are like me and like so many people that I know, if you are either on video or behind the computer, whatever, for most of your day, if you need to set a reminder to get up and walk around in between meetings or assignments, then set the reminders,
Absolutely.
when you've
Doing
got
a
the
little bit of yoga, doing a little bit of stretching in between, taking your calls, on the go, walking while you're on a phone call, like all of those things I think are important. And not every day is going to be, hardcore heavy lifting, but if you can get in maybe just a little bit of movement and better yet, add some sunshine, I think you'll be in a better place. You'll be mentally better.
Oh, absolutely. And there is one of the tips and 52 secrets is to stand up.
Oh,
I mean, that is the secret. It's to
I love it.
walk around. It clears your head. It gets your mind going as well, your creativity.
Your blood flowing, right?
Mhm. And I had someone else who's in the book when I was doing these mini interviews, and he said, like, put your yoga mat in the middle of either your workspace or your den or whatever, somewhere where you walk by it and it taunts you and you're like, okay, let's, do a couple burpees or push-ups or whatever. So
I love that. That's a great idea. Even keeping like a small set of weights underneath your desk that you can kind of bicep curl while you're on a Zoom call or something too, you know?
oh, do you do that?
No, but I'm going to. You've just inspired me to do that. I mean, I have them in my other room, but I should keep them under here. Why
I
not?
I think we need to mark this down as the one time I've inspired fitness in someone else. That's hilarious. Now let's talk about food. Do you remember specifically where your love of food came from?
Definitely my family. My family, food has always been a huge part of our lives. My mom loves to cook. My mom used to bake for a living as well. So there was always delicious sweets around the house. I have memories of going to my grandparents' house on Sundays for lox and bagel. My grandmother toasting a whole bunch of bagels in the oven. And it just became part of, ritual, just part of who we are as people. I can't think of a Jewish holiday that doesn't surround food. Food is really the lifeblood that brought us all together. So, I mean, like I said, I was a heavy kid and I've always loved food. And I just think, being Jewish, it's so ingrained in us. We have so many wonderful traditions. We have so many cultural foods that we all enjoy for different holidays and things like that. Potato latkes on Hanukkah and noodle kugel and brisket. I mean, there's so many that just ring so true that um, I love that about being Jewish. There is just such a cool cultural food component, and that everybody, it ties us all together culturally.
Well, I love that you can have a conversation with anybody about food, Jewish or not. It's like the
So
best
true.
conversation starter.
So true.
But how do you navigate eating the foods you love with the fitnessy parts?
So that's a good question. So you have to find the balance, right? You can't indulge all the time. But in the same way that if I'm not moving all the time or regularly, I'm grumpy. It's the same thing for food. Like if I can't eat that dessert or the food that I want, I'm going to be grumpy also. And so, how do you find a way to make yourself happy, but feel comfortable in your clothing, feel comfortable with how you look and how you appear? So, I think it's just about proportions and balance and like allowing yourself to taste whatever it is that you want. But maybe it's just a couple of bites, right? And it's not like a whole slice of cake. Maybe it's just one cookie instead of three. Um, and it's also like selecting your meals. Like, so for me, I tend to be healthier earlier in the day. So, like, I usually have a pretty healthy breakfast. I eat a lot of salads for lunch by choice, not every day, but a lot of days I do. But then by dinner, I'm like, What are we eating? Like, I'm so ready for a good meal, you know? So it's about just balance and, like, mixing things in together, like, it's not all or nothing. You can eat healthy much of the time and still enjoy the food that you love. So, I think it's about choice. One of my grandparents always said, "Just have a sample," "Just have a sample. Enjoy life and have a taste, have a sample." So, I try to live by that, like, I never limit myself and say, "I can't have this," or "I'm cutting out X, Y, and Z." Permanently because I know I'll be grumpy and I know, I'll have too much FOMO. Like, I just wanna taste those things too, so I allow myself to do that, but I try to just watch my portions.
I'm a little stuck on the eating one cookie. This is a concept that I've never really been able to understand. Right. And my mother, she would always pride herself that, those little candy bars, that she could eat just one. I get the concept. I don't know that I'm actually very good at it.
You have to train yourself to kind of, I guess, be happy with having
Mhm.
some and not none, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. And it's like, yeah, have a little joy. It'll carry you throughout the day. Have a little
Yes.
chocolate. That will also
Absolutely.
carry you throughout the day. Uh, the other thing that I love that you're talking about is the group element of fitness. Why is group fitness so impactful?
I love the group atmosphere of these fitness classes because I think, one, it's a little bit of choreography, which I think just harkens back to my days of dance as a child. And I just love that kind of community feel too that you get in a group class. Like you're mingling, you're co experiencing this with other people, whether it's a boot camp and you're all sweating and dying together. Or, you're going through a Pilates class and you're clenching through the core sequence. Like you're all in it together. And there's something about that that I think connects people that's different than working out solo. So I love that community aspect. Plus, I think you're motivated and inspired by the people around you. So if you see somebody holding that plank pose longer than you are, you might be more apt to try to hold it longer the next time, right? So there's a little bit of just inspiration by those around you. And then, of course, usually if it's a good gym, they have these really amazing teachers that also correct your form and teach you something new and push you a little bit harder. And so I think for me, I feel more motivated in a group setting than I would working out on my own.
Got it. And it also fits into the goal philosophy. If you see someone doing something, well, if they can do it, I can too.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
So that's the whole thing. So they can eat one cookie, I can too. They can hold the plank, so can I.
Correct.
But it's really all about, I think, empowering, deciding I want to feel good and these are the things that I need to do together.
Yes. Yep. And I also think I've had a few injuries over the course of even just the last few years. I've had a knee injury, I have a neuroma in my foot that acts up, and so it's changed how I work out a little bit, like, I don't run as much these days because of the neuroma, and, I tend to do a little more low impact exercise because of my knee than I would have prior, and I think, you know, that makes you appreciate just moving at all. It's like, okay, well, when I hurt my knee, was told that I couldn't do any exercise. And I just started to lose it after the first week or so. And then I found this chair workout on YouTube that one of my oldest son was doing with me, and it was like a 30-minute chair workout and that just gave me life again. It was like just feeling so thankful that I could move. Yes, I couldn't move this one part of my body, but I could move the rest of my body. And that felt good. So I think the appreciation for a movement too comes from when you can't have it, right? Whether it's an illness or it's COVID and the gyms are closed and you hurt your foot or whatever it is, just appreciating movement in general after something like that can go a long way.
Wow, that's a great story and such a good example of you can do something. You can always do something. Is there a recipe that you love that you want to share?
Yes. So here in St. Louis, we actually have a really unique food scene. I mean, St. Louis, if you haven't been to St. Louis, you got to come to St. Louis and test out some of the regional cuisine here. So there's one dish in particular that is a huge favorite of mine. It is something that I've written about on my blog, and it's called Gooey Butter Cake. It's a St. Louis dessert, although a lot of people eat it for breakfast. I grew up certainly eating it for breakfast, which was kind of funny now because the thought of eating that for breakfast now would not make me feel good, but it would taste good. But gooey butter cake is essentially a coffee cake of types that's made in different layers. So the base layer is a bit of a dense layer. It's more of a chewy, sometimes got a little bit of a crust to it, depending on how it's baked. And then the second layer is more of a gooey, buttery, and now a lot of recipes have cream cheese in it to kind of balance out that sweetness. It's the whole recipe is made with a ton of powdered sugar. There's a dusting of powdered sugar on the top. It's baked in like a rectangular cake pan and cut into squares. And it is served in many coffee shops locally, in many bakeries, and it is truly a St. Louis delight. I am going to share with you today in the show notes my family recipe for gooey butter cake, which is always a hit. I can make it for birthdays, I can make it for parties. My kids request it for breakfast on their birthdays. And the classic is made with cream cheese and butter and powdered sugar and flour, and, it's absolutely delicious, but now you'll find a lot of home chefs and a lot of restaurant chefs will add in different variations, right? So you'll find chocolate chip gooey butter cake, or you'll find pumpkin gooey butter cake, or blueberry gooey butter cake, and different ways to kind of spice it up and make it fresh. But I'm really excited to share that with you. It is a dish that I am very passionate about. There are so many awesome places in St. Louis to find it. And if you're ever visiting St. Louis and wondering where to find it, you can check out my blog post that features the top 5 places in St. Louis to taste it. Um, so I hope that you guys enjoy it as much as I do. It's definitely I've never met somebody that didn't like it. So I have to think that all of you will enjoy it as well. Have
So
you ever had it?
I have not.
Oh, oh, I can't wait for you to taste it, and
Oh,
I hope you make my recipe. It's not super complicated, but it is 2 layers, and when you're pressing the first layer into the pan, you're gonna use wet fingers. That's probably the most complicated part about it, and you're kind of creating like a crust layer, like a crust layer with your fingers and pressing it a little bit onto the sides of the pan, and then the second layer kind of comes on and is this ooey gooey, um topping, and then the whole thing gets covered with powdered sugar when it comes out of the oven.
ooh, now it sounds delicious. And if you go to jewishjournal.com/podcast, you can get this delicious recipe and also read the article that goes with the episode and the previous episodes, of course, as well. Natalie, where can people learn more about you and Fitness Foodie STL?
Yeah, you can check me out on the web at FitnessFoodieSTL.com. You can also follow me on Instagram or on Facebook at FitnessFoodieSTL.
Awesome. And what final food for thought do you want to leave us with today?
Hmm. Okay, so I would like to say that food is something that you should enjoy, and you should always remember that you do deserve it. And that it's not earned, it's something that you should really just enjoy because food is delicious, and I hope you love it and enjoy it and find balance in your life.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Natalie, for joining me. Thank you for tuning in to Taste Buds with Deb. Don't miss an episode. You can subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, and or your favorite podcast platform. And if you go to jewishjournal.com/podcast, you can read the articles and get the recipes that go with each episode. And you can learn more at tastebudswithdeb.com. Until next time, enjoy your food because why wouldn't you? And bon appetit.